everybody, and welcome to episode 46 of Around the Kingdom, a Disney Magic Kingdoms podcast by a guy who knows that one day my prince will come. Coming to you from the evil stepmother's castle, I am your host, Steve Squirrel, and joining me for the first time is the creator and, of course, admin of the Facebook group Disney Magic Kingdoms with Amy, Sam, and Roxanne. We've got Amy Devore in the house.
Yay! Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be here.
You know, Amy is a guest that I've wanted to have on the show for a long time. She started out actually being requested by a lot of listeners for a while, and so I got to be familiar with her group, and what a great group it is. So happy that I was able to be part of it. Before we go on, do you want to just tell us a little quick thing about your Facebook group?
Yeah, sure. We started about a year and a half ago, and Sam, who's one of my besties who I never met, but I'm meeting next week, which will be amazing in person. And then Roxanne, who's in the UK, we all got together, decided we needed a group, and here we are. We love it.
Awesome. Well, next time you all get a meetup, you should go to the UK, because that would be a much more exciting meetup, I think.
I totally agree.
So anyone who wants to join the group, the link will be in our show notes, so you can always check it out there and join a group. It's great. They have a lot of great content, live streams, all sorts of stuff. So make sure you check that out.
Thank you.
And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining us this week as we explore the wonderful world of Disney Magic Kingdoms.
Yay.
Before we get started, I want to thank all of our Patreons: Carrie Schumann, Kathy Clausen, Honeybee, Kira, Tom Higgins, Patricia Baisden, and Brianne Duke. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's a site where you can just pledge a few bucks each month to help support the show. So if you're able to and want to help support the show, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/AroundTheKingdom. There are other ways you could be more involved with the show also. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We have a very active Facebook group, and it's a great way to stay in touch with me and the community of the show. We have a Discord channel where you can chat with me and the other members of the community, so come and join us there too. The links to everything will be in the show notes and can also be found on the show's main Facebook page. The Kingdom is always changing, so for reference, this show is being recorded on Thursday, September 12th at around 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. All right, whew. So that is out of the way. Introductions are done. It is time to chat about the game. So let's kick it back over to you, Amy. I want to hear, how was your week in the Kingdom?
It's been amazing. I just have to say, I love Space Mountain Thrill Zone. That whole area that has opened up into a whole new world. It's amazing.
Wait, it opened up into what?
Oh, well, a whole
new world. There you go. Come on.
Yes.
The dad jokes are good.
They're amazing, right? So, yeah, so super thrilled with that. And then Pascal, right? He's so cute. Yeah, it's been a great week. Just loved it. Loved everything. You want me to go more into detail?
Yeah, I mean, have you started working on Pascal? How's that going?
Yes.
Have you enchanted any buildings, leveling? Like, what are you doing? Like, what have you, when you're pressing buttons this week, what have you pressed?
Right? Tons. So let's back up a little bit. Nemo, Marlin, Dory, Crush, Shenzi. Those are the characters, and now Pascal. Those are the ones I don't have leveled to 10. Everyone else is there and leveled to 10. Nemo's 7, Marlin and Hanker 5, Dory Bruce are 8, Crush 8, and then Shenzi's 9. She's almost done. And then my California Adventure Thrill Zone. At first, I was not going to really give much thought to it because I thought I do not want all those attractions decorations and tons of concession stands. I didn't want them out. But then, because I need to have everything done like DMK wants it done, I did it. So I have Thrill level 3 in that area. I'm kind of glad they didn't do
level 3.
Level 3.
I think you're the first.
1,800 potions.
I think you're the first person I know to get to level 3. I don't know anyone else that's done it. So this is an important question, and this is not going to be something I don't think you can answer today.
Okay.
but it's something I need you to think about and do some math, right? So when you are removing attractions in order to get everything in place and all that stuff, are you, with the 50% bonus to magic, which is what you get at Thrill Zone level 3, are you making more magic per day in that zone than you would if you had concessions and other stuff occupying that space?
Yes. So what I did was every morning I collect my potions, and I get quite a few. I usually get about 18,000-ish if I haven't, collected throughout the night and stuff. So once everything's ready to collect, I get about 18,000 potions. And then, as the day goes on, I collect tons. But I have found that I'm collecting 20,000 potions. And then I get the 1,800 from the little icon that's right by California Screamin' that you collect it.
Yeah.
So, and I get that twice. So I can say that yes, it has been a benefit to me. Now I have 52 million potions, so I don't really need them, but I think it's important. It's important to do what, the challenges that DMK is giving us. Why not, right?
I hope that just for you and only for you, the next piece of land is 60 million potions.
This is an Amy only land. Yes. Everyone else can get it for 2.
Yes,
Amy
exactly.
Gets it for 60.
Yes. They know your ID number in that top left corner. They can make it happen.
I know.
But
they
good.
could.
Awesome. So congratulations on getting to Thrill Zone 3. That's really cool.
Thank you. So yeah, so I love it. So then when Space Mountain came, they opened up that whole area so much on Tuesday. I put my 9 attractions that I had in storage, except the Omni Droid, the big one, the one that, the huge one. Because, so I put everything else, I fit it out. And I fit out a few concession stands, which has been amazing. So being at Thrill Zone level 3 and having everything except that one attraction fit is amazing. Yeah. It's great. I'm pulling in a lot of potions.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that Thrill Zone in a little bit moving on.
Perfect.
So it sounds like you had an awesome week.
I did.
This was a very, very exciting week. I have to say. We had the end of Nemo, which we'll talk about in a bit. So I was finally able to start doing stuff, and I knew that the Tower Challenge would be next. So I finally welcomed Louis. I was holding off on Louis for the whole event. I decided to just kind of put him on hold. So I welcomed Louis to the kingdom, and I finished all the quests, or the kingdom quests for him. So for the first time since I started playing a little over a year ago, I had no kingdom quests.
Oh.
It was a weird feeling, to not have any kingdom quests. But then about 3 days later, the patch came out, and now I have some kingdom quests. So at least I have none. But so that was cool. So Louis is in there. I've got him, I think, to level 3 now. Just kind of chugging along slowly. But I'm glad to have him now, and I have all the DuckTales characters. So that's really cool.
Perfect.
I did not enchant any buildings this week. I was kind of waiting to see what happens. I have more than enough to do a couple of enchantments right now, but I just don't want to waste them on things that I don't think I'm gonna need them on, right?
Right.
So I guess with all the talk about you and saying how much more magic you're producing with Thrill Zone 3, I might be tempted to put it down. I do want to get the Snuggly Duckling. So, but I haven't gotten any of the tokens for it yet. But once I do, that's definitely going to go at least to 2, so I can get all of the Pascal tokens from there.
Definitely.
So I'm looking forward to that. Now we just got to get some tokens,
right,
or some relics. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm waiting for the building. Now leveling this week, or last show. So that was actually 2 weeks ago, because there was no show last week. We talked about the fact that Snow White was going to be one of the characters collections that you wanted to focus on. And I've been saying for a long time, level your Snow White characters because they are way out of balance. and they're going to be balanced soon. And as we know, and we'll talk about in a little bit, they're going to be balanced. So I was working on them. I was able to get all of my Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs characters to 10 literally minutes after the patch dropped. So I was able to download the patch about an hour after the patch was available. Spoiler alert, I don't have Android. And and so I was able to get the patch. So then now it's just, you know, I was loving a couple of people, but now I'm starting with some Nightmare Before Christmas characters, as we know that they are going to be used, and we will talk about that in a little bit as well. So my lifetime visitors board. So if you have your game open, Amy, do you know your lifetime visitors board? Like, do you know your rank on there?
Yeah.
So what is your rank?
So 292.
What? You are ranked 292? That is amazing.
Thank you.
That is amazing.
It's good. What's your rank?
Well, to bring it back down to the planet Earth,
Right.
I'm ranked 68,224, just a mere 68,000 people behind you. But yes,
That's okay.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Wow.
You're just a couple steps. That's all. No big deal.
That's incredible. I think that is the highest that I've known for anyone. I think you're breaking records on the show today, Amy. You're smashing them.
Perfect.
Awesome. So cool. So great. So it's been an awesome week in the kingdom. We have so much to talk about. So let's keep moving on with the show. It's time now for the newcomer tip of the week. So for someone who's been around the block and knows this game inside and out, let's kick it over to Amy. Amy, what do you have for the newcomers, or just for the people this week?
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, a few things. Do enchant your attractions. I know they're kind of a pain, and I guess I've been picking just if it's ready, I'll do it. I normally don't try to level level one and then go on to something else, or enchant one and go on to something else. I usually just try to, whatever's available, I enchant it. So, but you know, whatever works for everyone, but that's what I do. I've noticed I love that the Snuggly Duckling, I love that it's going to drop those Pascal tokens. That's great. So I'm really trying to get that done. I don't think I've leveled up or enchanted it all yet. So I'm working. The other thing is try to keep your happiness up. So it's hard to do. I've been talking to a couple people earlier today about it. So what I do, and I don't know if I don't know what it is, but I open my game, I click on my happy faces, and then when a wish comes up, I immediately try to grant it. In fact, I leave several of those wish granters that are doing all the time. For me, it seems like my Mulan characters go crazy at wish granting, and Pluto is huge. There's someone. Oh, Elsa. Elsa is always needing to grant wishes in the kingdom. So those I usually will keep them at home or just on 60-minute tasks. So that way they're always available. I know Cinderella's kind of tough because she actually has a task right now with Anastasia. I want to say, I think it's 8 hours, so it's 8 or 12. It's a long one. So I really try not to put her out on that. But yeah, so try to get your happiness up. Sometimes I have to, if no wishes are coming up, I got to close out, I'm on iPhone, so I just clear the game completely, go back in until I see the white Disney screen, and then it'll come up with a few more wishes. So it's high maintenance though. You have to click, send them out, click again, and it's definitely a process. But I think it's important. I think it adds to the kingdom. I think it adds to your drop. So that's great. And then I think, and we'll talk about it in a sec, stop me if I'm going too far ahead, but for the tower challenges coming up, collect your tokens, your Maleficent coins, the event currency. I'm not going to make it this chapter, so it doesn't matter. It does matter. So make sure that you're definitely collecting every Maleficent event currency that you can. And then I think that's
Awesome.
about it.
Those are absolute definites. For the happiness, I agree with you. Well, I keep a lot of characters at home, just for time maintenance and time management. But I keep out Mickey. I keep out Pluto. I keep out Mulan and Li Shang and Mushu, because they all are happiness. I keep out Elsa. I keep out the Mad Hatter. I keep out the March Hare, and Pleakley. Yeah.
Totally.
Those are the big wish people. So I keep them out all the time so that I'm not missing it as I'm cycling through my characters. You know, like I'll see that the happy face and I'll be like, okay, you know, and like I know when they're coming up, so like I kind of like slow down and just make sure that you know, I'm missing it, because you don't want to miss that, you know. When, you know, because the respawn on the wishes is so much faster now.
Totally.
So you want to get them and collect them, because I've collected a wish and that same kid has turned into like a fast pass kid immediately. So like you can double down, but happiness is just so important. And a lot of times you wake up, like you have a good night's sleep, you wake up, you're like 92%. You're like, how did this happen? Don't get discouraged. You know, you can just kind of keep at it, keep your eye on it. You know, bring your phone and go to the bathroom if you're working, and collect your wishes if you have to. So, but all right. That's enough potty talk for now. That was my potty mouth.
Right?
Okay. Hello, Dublin out there. Okay. So, all right. So that's really good. So thank you. That's all really good stuff. So let's move on now. So now we have no show news to report. This is a section where we usually talk about things that are happening specifically with the show or our group. For anyone that's listening new for the first time, our Facebook group and the show, we like to do contests and giveaways. All the money that's brought in from Patreon for people who support the show goes directly to paying the costs to host a podcast, and then any money left over goes to giveaways and contests and all sorts of stuff. We had a really cool contest at the beginning of actually just a few weeks ago, where it was to design your own stained glass. And you know, the winner got a $10 iTunes or Android or whatever gift card. So you know, we have lots of those, so make sure you join and stay in touch so that you can find out when we have the next one.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's move on into the game news. So we got lots of stuff to talk about in the game news, but the biggest thing right now that everyone's talking about, well, at least some of the people are talking about, is the fact that while the patch did drop 2 days ago on the 10th of September, the Android patch has not come out yet.
Oh.
So I saw some information posted by a gentleman in my group who showed me that it seems that the issue has nothing to do with Disney Magic Kingdoms. All of their stuff was submitted on time. The Google Play Store seems to be having up to a 7-day delay in the normal publishing of updates and new applications. And that is directly from the Google and the Google Play. So that being said, it might take up to a week for you guys to get your update. So that stinks big time. Somebody asked me my thoughts on that. My thoughts are that stinks. There's nothing else I can really say. What I will say is hopefully it will be out and you'll get it before the Tower Challenge begins. I would assume that if for some reason Tower Challenge begins and like you get it a day or so into it, that somehow Disney Magic Kingdoms will compensate all Android players with Maleficent coins, and Coco, or just things to kind of make sure that you guys are on the same page as everyone else. They're really, really good at that. They have a whole team of people that's dedicated to doing stuff like that. Like Marc Andre's job is to be customer relations, right? So he'll take care of you guys. I know it stinks that you can't start working on Pascal. Who knows, you might get Pascal tokens. But really, there's not much else you're missing. You know what I mean? So it's not a whole... It is a whole new world, but it's not nothing that a few more days won't matter too much. So, what, Amy, thoughts on the Android Gate 2019?
I think it's too bad. I'm sad for the people in my group who cannot get to it. I am thankful though that the Tower Challenge does not start until the 17th. So I know Pascal is out, but he's storyline. So that's cool.
There's no rush.
Not really,
no rush.
You're not really missing anything right now. So I get it though. You want to do Space Mountain. Space Mountain. You want to get Space Mountain land. You want to get all your attractions out. I totally understand. So, and I am so sorry. I hope that Android Play gets figured out quickly. So yeah, I'm sad.
Yeah, I agree. I hope it gets figured. It's interesting because typically. Gameloft will release a Disney Magic Kingdoms patch on a Tuesday, and then the following Thursday, so today, at Rope Drop would have been when the event would begin, but they decided to give more leeway time this time and give a full week. Maybe they anticipated the Android mess up, but regardless, it's a good thing that it didn't begin today, because then it would have been a real big mess. So
mass chaos.
Yeah, mass chaos in the Disney Magic Kingdoms community. So anyway, hopefully it comes out soon. That's really all I can say. Stay tuned. All right, so let's talk about some gifts. The new patch came out, and everyone was given some gifts. The gifts were 5 gems, 3 of the new magic scrolls, which we will talk about shortly, and then 1 amber chest. And that was to everyone. So thank you, Disney Magic Kingdoms. I don't know. I guess the Android people didn't get that because they can't get scrolls, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, some of them are pretty upset, but we all know DMK is so perfect at always making it up to us. So they will get those. And then they had said, I believe it was on their page, that they were going to do compensation also. So it will be good.
And here's the thing, and I'm not gonna blow any more smoke, but they're compensating for nothing that's their fault. It's not like they messed up. So they're just being nice to the people. But this is Google's.
Exactly.
This is Google's problem. I mean, I have no problem pointing fingers when fingers need to be pointed at people, but this is Google's problem. So,
right.
All right, moving on. So some clarification of a couple of things. We talked 2 shows. Well, in our last show, we had some questions about some different things. One was a question from the community, and another was just something that I had noticed. So I contacted Gameloft and got some answers. The first thing was someone wanted to know how visitor count works. So how many visitors you are getting to your kingdom. Obviously depends your rank and all that stuff. So one of the questions that people said was, and I guess the question came up was, if you have your game open and you just let it sit there, or then if you close your game out, does leaving your game open increase your visitor count? So what Disney Magic Kingdoms came back and said is that the way that visitor count works is that it increases with several factors being several factors. Those factors are the amount of content, characters in the park, and number of expansions you have opened. Having the game opened or closed does not impact the visitor count rate. So that makes perfect sense. When I was newer to the game, I noticed that, as I unlocked more land, I noticed more kids in the park. Like when you're first starting out, there's not a lot of kids running around. But as you kept unlocking more land, more kids. And then when you started putting out more attractions, more kids. So it makes sense. But I think that was kind of, I don't want to say stating the obvious. I think that was kind of it. But I guess the game open closed was something that I was always curious about as well. What about you? Did you ever wonder that?
I did at one point when my battery kept dying because I thought, I know. Do I need to leave my game open so that I can keep up with that, more people coming in? And at this point, sometimes I'll leave it on just accidentally. Other times it's closed, but yeah, it is interesting how DMK is great. They've thought, they have all this stuff all figured out. So I'm glad you got the answer though, because I get asked that also. And I'm like, well, I think that it doesn't matter, but it's good to know that now it definitely,
It does not
it
matter.
doesn't.
So
Yeah.
there was one more thing that I noticed. So whenever I go around the kingdom for the day, prior to the change in the chests, we had talked about, there was always that one chest that, what I called the train chest, where the train once a day would drop off a chest, and it would be at the part in front of Main Street, kind of in front of the gate. Since the change to the chests, there has not been a drop over there. The train has not left any presents for anyone.
Right.
So I was curious about that. So the answer is that spawn location has been removed for now, but there is plans to add it back in a future update. Stay tuned.
Nice.
So that's, but at least,
I've missed it.
yeah, I felt like it added a little bit of flair. It kind of felt like the train was dropping it off.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay, so those are a couple of things I wanted to point out before we got into the good stuff. One more thing before we get into the new patch, since we missed last week. Let's spend 1 minute each. Amy, can you give me a quick final wrap-up thoughts on the Finding Nemo event?
I can. I loved it. I think the pace of it was something that everyone could follow. It wasn't so high maintenance that you were like, oh, great. Well, I only got this far because there was so many things to do. There was no bots. Yes. Which was super, super nice. None that were impossible, I guess is what I should say. There wasn't anything that I was hearing, I can't even do this. I've collected 10. I can't even, it wasn't too difficult. That's what it is. Yeah, I thought it was great. And I love the characters. I love the storyline. I kind of paid attention to it some. Toward the end, I started kind of just clicking through things. But yeah, I think it went in a great way. I think a lot of people were able to finish, which is perfect. Not too easy, but definitely not too hard.
Okay, great.
What about you?
I thought the event was okay. I felt that there had been so many great events where they kept raising the bar and raising the bar and raising the bar that you can't keep raising the bar over and over. So I felt like it was kind of an average event, if you will. There was nothing that stuck out about it.
Right.
As far as the dialogue, it didn't overly intrigue me, especially the whole crush and squirt, that took 3/4 of the. It felt like 3/4 of the event. I would have liked more Nemo, Dory kind of storyline in there. You got it at the end. Like the end was like, all right, now you're really getting what you want. I felt that the drop rates were hard. I don't know if I was unlucky. I felt that it was. I found that there were lots of drops that needed to happen, and they were harder. So I felt like a lot of times I had like that day buffer between, like I'd finish collecting, and then I'd have like a day or so, and then the next chapter would begin. And I felt like I was my heels were grinding to the end. So I actually found the difficulty level a little bit harder than an average event, just for pacing. I felt that it was a slow pace, but it was like more of a long grind rather than like a quick thing, like collect a bunch of stuff, go into battle bots, come out, collect a bunch more stuff, do this. Like, it wasn't where it was fast paced. I felt like it was a slower kind of grindy event. So so it was good, but not what I would consider one of my favorites.
I agree.
Okay, so that was the Nemo event. So now we can move on. We have so much more to talk about. Let's keep going. So we had a live stream. I know this is not big news, but we had no show last week. So and then we were able to get the patch. So patch 33 dropped on September 10th, which was 2 days ago. And there is a lot to talk about in the event, or in this the patch that came out. So let's start with the new characters that are coming out. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Snow White's Prince Charming, aka Charming number 2. So Snow White's Prince Charming will be the Tower Challenge reward that you get for completing the Tower Challenge with the Maleficent coins. So you'll get that the traditional way by collecting coins through 3 different chapters, and then when you have enough, you will be able to welcome Prince Charming. So he is in there. Thoughts on Prince Charming?
Hold on just one sec.
Okay. So the next thing that we have going is Pascal. Oh, you're back. Okay. Snow White's Prince Charming.
Totally apologize for that.
No problem.
My computer wasn't charging, so I'm so sorry. My thoughts on Prince Charming, is that what you asked?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. However, I think they should have not called him Prince Charming. I think he should have been called something else, just for probably more your and my and anyone who's writing it out's sake. But otherwise, I'm excited to see him added. I love that Snow White won't be alone anymore. I think it's great. I'm excited to see what their, communication between each other is. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I get it with the name, but that's all right. I'm excited to have him in there. I think it's cool. Right. I think it would be even cooler if he had an axe. Because we all know how the real story goes. If you haven't read the real Snow White, go read it. It's actually really cool. So it's definitely not something you read to your children at bedtime. Okay, so then also so we have that. So that's the Tower Challenge reward. The next new character that's in the game is Pascal. Pascal is joining the kingdom. It has joined the kingdom. He is permanent content. So it's so nice that we have some new permanent content. It seems to be the way that Disney Magic Kingdoms is going with Tower Challenges is that they're introducing new content regularly now with the Tower Challenge patches. Mm-hmm. So it was nice having everyone knew that Pascal was going to join the kingdom at some point. Most people thought he was going to be a Tower Challenge reward because he's like that extra character that you can kind of like throw in. So I was actually surprised when they started putting the clues out about like who will be like crawling into the kingdom or whatever. Like I was positive that Pascal was going to be the Tower Challenge reward, but he's not. He's permanent content, which is great. I love permanent content. It put that little kingdom quest right back in my game right when I thought I was done. So and there's no rush. I mean you go at your own pace. Like I just welcomed Louis, and how long ago did that come out? Right? You do it at your own pace, and enjoy it. Yeah. So his drops are epic. So you need 20 Pascal ears and 20 Pascal dresses, and and then you can welcome Pascal. So yeah, that's
he's tough.
He is tough, and here's the thing. So I don't know if you're aware, but I don't really care for Maximus in this game very much. It is an ongoing. I kind of noticed that. It's kind of an ongoing thing where I have him declared as the worst character in the game.
Oh no.
And he's useful now. He collects both the dress and the ears with his 4-hour quests, which is significantly faster than the other ones. He now has a 1-hour quest, which he didn't before. He also now has a 6-hour quest. Okay, side note, do you call them quests, tasks, or activities?
I call them quests when they're in the quest bar. I call them a task if they're in the one where you click on the character and it comes up on your screen and then you send them out on the
Okay.
60 minutes,
Okay.
3. Those are tasks. That's what I do.
Okay, so we'll say tasks. So he has a 1 hour task. He has a 6 hour
Mm-hmm.
task. What I hated the most about him was that he only had a 4 hour maximum task, right? So at night when you're going out to send all your characters out, if you have them all out,
Right?
4 hours. Like, what are you doing?
Oh,
You know.
yeah.
So, so anyway, is he just as terrible? I don't know. He's in my kingdom. He's dropping stuff. I'm actually rooting. Today I legitimately was saying, "Go, Maximus, go!" And I hit the button, and boom, an ears dropped, and I was like, I don't know what to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super nice.
He might not be the worst character in the kingdom anymore.
Now you're gonna have to work on who is, and maybe we don't need to hear that now.
Who do you think is the worst character in the kingdom? As far as the game goes, not like who you like or dislike the most.
Right.
Like, who would you never bring back into the kingdom from home?
So I'm trying to think. The Big Hero 6 characters, they're not my favorite.
But they have but they have 1 hour, 2 hour, and 8 hour tasks.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, they stay home all the time unless they're needed for something. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Maximus was hard, so I would put Maximus out with Flynn and let them kind of hang out because they're already to 10, so it's not like I'm needing Flynn for anything else. Although right now, Flynn's doing stuff and Maximus is doing stuff.
They're all very useful characters right now. So,
exactly.
So I said one of my runner-up was Lady Tremaine because she's pretty useless too. Her maximum quest I think is 2 hours solo.
I know,
task.
But I love her.
She's pretty terrible. Right? Also, she might take over the reins for Maximus. The reins. Yes.
That was good.
All right.
You are on it tonight.
I wasn't.
We may need to keep these going a little later because you are on point.
I'm loopy tonight, Amy. All right. All right. Let's keep moving here. So those are the two new characters that we have here. So let's see. So the next thing, concession stands. 3 concession stands, all princess type related. We can pretty much guarantee that these will be the rewards for chapter 1, 2, and 3 respectively, for getting just for getting coins. Kind of as your reward. So, or I'm sorry, no, points that you'd get during the tower challenge. So there's the Snow White bow stand, which looks awesome. The bubbling potion drink stand, and then the Lost Princess ice cream stand. I think this is the same thing that my daughter got in Disney World. It was like it was like purple ice cream.
Nice.
Yeah, I think they have well, obviously all this stuff's usually like in the kingdom, so yeah, it was really cool. I'll have to find pictures of that and share it on the page.
Definitely.
So those are all cute stands, right?
Yes, I love them. I can't wait to have them out.
Yes, they're definitely ones I'm looking forward to. They're good enough to inspire you to want to complete the chapters.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Now we have 2, not 1, but 2 comfy costumes coming to a place near you. So the first one we're going to talk about is Snow White's comfy costume. Snow White is getting a comfy costume, and it is during the Snow White Tower Challenge. So it was made clear that the Snow White comfy costume will be made available by tokens dropped by Snow White's Prince Charming. So this is going to be similar to the Tower Challenge, where Cricky was the final reward, and then after that there was a comfy costume you were able to get right after that.
Yeah.
So it's going to most likely be the same. So you're going to need to complete the Tower Challenge rather quickly, the last chapter, and then as soon as you can welcome Prince Charming, you're going to need to start sending him out. I believe that the last one, because there was one, the Cricky one was really hard. Then there was another one after that, and it was like 1 hour activities or 1 hour tasks, and they were only rare. Right? Am I recalling this correctly?
I'm looking for my tower challenge. So there was the Lion King was our most recent one, right?
Right, but there was there was nothing at the end of that.
Yeah, no. And then Aladdin, and there was nothing at the end of that one. And then Beauty and the Beast, LeFou, is that the next one back? And then Mulan. Did I skip one? Because why didn't I must have skipped one. I must be missing one on my list. Dang it. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I like the ones that have the comfy costume or something on the end, though. Beauty and the Beast, did they have... Is that when you got bells? I believe so.
Yes, I believe so.
I think so.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, we'll figure it out. Anyway, it's going to be hard to get. You know, you're going to have to finish quickly. So it's going to be a challenge, but it's very cool. So good luck to everyone on that. The next one that they talked about was Rapunzel's comfy costume, which will be available. And they said it will be available after the Tower Challenge is over.
Yes.
And they said that it would be available in a Tapper event. What was interesting is that they kind of let it slip, at least it seems to me like they let it slip, that it was going to be a milestone reward. So not a leaderboard, but they said something about a milestone, which means that you're not going to have to sit there and worry about your place on a leaderboard, but you'll only need to defeat a certain number of battle bots or a certain number of whatever, and then you'll get the comfy costume as your reward. Now, this was an epic failure the last time they tried this, because the last time they did that was with the original Animation Academy battle bots. Everyone knows how well that went. So
that was a hot mess.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll just adjust either the difficulty level of the drops or the amount of that you'll need to make it more accessible. They have been making things much more accessible to people, and we'll talk about that in the event of the week. So we will see how that turns out, but expect BattleBots to be coming to a Tapper near you.
Yep.
Any thoughts on anything before we move on with the that content that we talked about? Anything you want to touch on?
I think just a lot of times when you're in that Tower Challenge and you're collecting that Maleficent currency, event currency, you'll see in the shop how things are starting to come up for sale. And I think a lot of people, because there's quite a few people who are newer players and they need everything that's offered, I know what I encourage them to do is to just wait until you've collected all of your Maleficent coins and currency and everything, until at that point you can say, okay, I have 10,000. What do I really want? And then you can figure out what to actually buy, because you can purchase stuff when you're in chapter 3. You can purchase stuff from the event shop. You can purchase it from what was in the first chapter, the second one, or the third, which I think is perfect. So unless you know, like you and I, or me, I know I'm going to get through it, so I just purchase all the tokens and stuff as I'm going. But for newer people who do not, who aren't positive if they're going to get everything or finish them all, save your currency till you know exactly what you want to spend it on and what you can afford.
So you would, to a newer player, you would tell them in chapter 1, don't get the featured character or attraction? You tell them.
Oh, I'm sorry. It cut out. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So you would tell someone in the first that's kind of newer or newer to the game that if they needed the featured character in chapter 1 that they could purchase and the featured attraction, not to buy them in chapter 1.
Not if they think, or since I don't know if they're going to tell us attractions. They'll tell us who is in each chapter, but not. I would wait until you've seen everything, the attraction and the character in chapter 1, 2, and then obviously we know 3. But I would wait. I would hold all that currency until you know exactly what you want to get,
Okay.
because they may find they don't want Prince Charming because he's not obtainable for them. They don't play enough or
Sure.
whatever it is. But they may really, really want the 2 attractions that are going to be offered. So, I mean, if you have that one that you definitely want, fine, buy it. But if you're kind of thinking, oh, I might have enough for one, I might have enough for 2, but I really want this also, just save your Maleficent event currency. It's not going to go anywhere.
Okay, fair
So,
enough.
yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I would never have given that advice to anyone, but when I think about it and the way you put it, you know, it makes sense, because if you were to buy that character in chapter 1, they're level 1. They're not doing anything for you.
Right.
So yeah. So I think that makes good sense. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Okay, so let's move on now and talk a little bit more about the Tower Challenge. So we have a Tower Challenge coming. Maleficent returns. Will she finally fulfill her villainous plan? In the latest installment of the Tower Challenge, you are tasked with reuniting Snow White with her handsome prince. Play through each chapter to get the tokens needed to welcome Snow White's Prince Charming. As a final reward, Snow White's comfy costume will be available during this time-limited event. The Tower Challenge starts on September 17th. Are you up to the challenge? So, as we pointed out before, the interesting thing is that this is starting 7 days after the patch dropped, which typically it doesn't do. They usually drop it on a Tuesday, and it starts on a Thursday. So they're giving us a little bit of extra time. Love it. I think it's great. Yeah. Everyone, besides I need more land, one of the biggest things I see people complain about, because people love to complain, is that they never have time to level up characters, right?
Right.
Okay. You always can be leveling characters. You can be leveling characters during Tower Challenges, during events, during everything. Just pay attention to who's going to cause conflicts, right? Which is why I know that in your group you put up conflict lists. In our group we have conflict lists up, so you can always be leveling characters. But people like people also like a breather between events, which is cool. I understand that. Right. And so it's nice to just have a breather where you're not worried about events, you're not worried about this, and you can kind of just slow down for a bit. So totally. I think this extra week is nice. It gave everyone that little bit of time. Mm-hmm. So what everyone that watched the live stream noticed, because everyone's looking at these things, because we know what to look for in there, is that in the top left corner, when they were going through the characters, we noticed that Snow White, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and Beauty and the Beast characters were up in the top left corner of the character screen, meaning that we are pretty sure they're going to be our helpers. So, that being said, we kind of knew, we were already doing Snow White characters at that point. So, now we had an idea to start working on Nightmare Before Christmas, Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
So, last show, we talked about the fact that the September calendar was released by Disney Magic Kingdoms. Mm-hmm. And that we call it on the show, the infamous Chinese hackers right. wrote on Reddit, what are we going to do now? Like, they were bored because they had no data to data mine.
Right.
So they had even said something like, and I laughed when I read it, but they said, I think Disney Magic Kingdoms should just release all the characters for the Tower Challenges too. So then we wouldn't have anything to do. And I said that will never happen. Well, the Instagram post came out this morning, and they said we want 10,000 likes, and then we'll give you all of the characters that you're going to need for Chapter 1. Crazy! Yay. I cannot believe that they actually did it. So.
I love it.
10,000 likes later, we know who all of the characters are, and now the Chapter 2, they want 15,000 likes, and then I think they're just about there, right?
They have it. So, not to interrupt, but they do have it. They are at 16,615, and it is not up here yet. DMK, TikTok.
Yeah, they're with their families right now.
Right. So tomorrow morning, maybe. Right.
Amy.
Right. Where are we?
Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, when they get in the morning, expect tomorrow morning around 9 Eastern to
Right.
get that job around there. All right. So anyway, the who we have the featured character of Zero. So chapter 1's going to be Nightmare Before Christmas, which we kind of assumed that it would be one of the chapters. So the featured character Zero. As helpers, we have the Nightmare Before Christmas cast. They'll be in the 4th slot like usual. You have Jack, Sally, Oogie, and the Mayor. Then scattered around through slots 1, 2, and 3. Mickey and friends, you have Pluto, Mickey, Pete, Minnie, Daisy, and Goofy. The Toy Story characters are Boo, Sully, and Celia. And Jungle Book, you have King Louie, Mowgli, and Shere Khan. So, an interesting assortment of characters. I like the fact that they're doing it. It's interesting that they're putting Jungle Book in chapter 1, but they've been doing a lot of that lately. So, a lot of times they'll throw one in each slot, for example, or they'll have like dual slots or triple slots, like they were doing, So, what is your thoughts on chapter 1 and what we have to look forward to here?
I think it's great. I think it's really good. I kind of wish there were a few more of those Monsters Inc. just because 3, you're gonna have to use hot cocoa to keep it going. But that's okay. I think it's great. I'm excited. Those who don't have Shere Khan, who have put him off because he is so expensive, I don't know. Do you go ahead and get him and then just? I would think level 1 is better than, or welcomed is better than not welcomed at all. So I'd get him, but I know he was really expensive, so I understand.
Really expensive.
Gosh,
really expensive.
Crazy. They should have just put that for me.
Amy, I disagree with you. I think that level 1 is not as good as none at all. I would rather.
Do you?
I would rather spend Coco
Right.
and put someone else out than to put a level 1 character out. I think putting a level 1 character out is a waste of time.
Right. Yeah, I see that. That works. Yeah, because if you're King Louie or Mowgli or higher, then you could just keep reusing them.
Yeah. I just don't. A level 1 gives you almost nothing, so I wouldn't waste 820,000 magic if you're hard pressed on magic, and I wouldn't spend 820,000 magic to get a level 1 character in a tower challenge.
Oh, he was so expensive.
So he costs about, I think we talked about on the last show, probably about 3 million magic or more to get from all the way through welcome. So
craziness.
Yeah, he's
that's crazy
expensive.
I'm excited about it. I think it looks great.
Yeah, so far I'm looking forward to it. So that being said, now all we have is speculation, but I would say Beauty and the Beast most likely will be our helpers for chapter 2. Typically, if they follow the format, Beast will be the featured character. He always has been. They usually it's the order of how they were released. So you can expect that, and you can probably expect the rest of the cast to be there as well. Who's left then from other things? So you have the other Toy Story characters, so you could expect like maybe Bunny, Ducky, Forky. And then you can maybe some DuckTales characters, Peter Pan characters.
Right, Cinderella. They tend to use Lady Tremaine, your favorite.
Yes, which is that was the reason why we made her when we were reevaluating whether I thought she was the worst character or not. She became better than Maximus because she was used in tower challenges. But Maximus was used in the last tower challenge too, I think. So
they did that just because you said it.
They do. They're listening to the show, and they said, "How can we really make Steve Squirrel like Maximus more?"
Right.
So
it worked.
Yay! Well, I guess I'm telling you, Maximus is going to be in this tower challenge. That's my guarantee. I'm gonna. He's got to be.
That's great.
Because a lot of times they like to do that too, because they like to put characters that make you think about conflicts. Like, do you send them in the tower to storm the challenge, or do you keep working on Pascal tokens? So
Right. It's a challenge.
That's why they call it the tower. If it was easy, it would be called the Tower Easy. Right?
True. So true.
So, yeah. So that's what we got there. You know what's interesting about this tower challenge? This is the first time in a while that we haven't had a premium character that was directly available for purchase that gave you Coco. The last two we had the Sultan, and then we had Ed that you could purchase and immediately get to level 2, or get with gems, get to level 2, and then they were your Coco helper. So that's not the case in here. There's no premium character to purchase.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy with how many Coco collectors there were last time. I want to say there was 4 or 5, or there just were not very many.
4. There were 4.
There was 4, yeah.
And one of them was the premium character.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wasn't happy with it last time. I would hope that they would, especially if they're going to be longer quests, if 4 hours, 8 hours, I'd rather them do
tasks.
Thank you. I would rather them do a few more people.
Yes.
Characters. So
yes.
We'll see what they do this time. I get it. They don't want us to have too much because then you don't have to buy them when they offer the pack, right?
Correct.
And so I get it, but 4 is not that many when you have so many people going out, so many characters going out,
I remember last year for the Halloween Tower Challenge, they had everyone who could do trick-or-treating. And they all sat around trick-or-treating for the Tower Challenge. There were like 5 or 6 of them.
That's the best.
Yeah,
that was a lot.
That was really fun. That was a fun Tower Challenge.
It was.
Okay. All right. So that's what we have for the Tower Challenge. So that's really it for what we know. So this was just breaking news from this morning, and then stay tuned to tomorrow morning when we have the Chapter 2 and hopefully maybe Chapter 3, depending on how fast you all click out there. We'll find out who the characters are. Again, putting the Chinese hackers out of business, getting ahead of the game. I think it's a smart move
Yes.
because information coming out like this is better coming out from the source than from a third party that's data mining. So
I agree.
I like it. I think and it also makes it fair for everyone. Not everyone's listening to Around the Kingdom or in Facebook groups with Amy, Sam, and Roxanne.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They're missing out.
They are. They don't get the jump start that other people get. So.
Right.
But all right. So that's it. Anything else you want to talk about Tower Challenge before we move on?
Yeah. Nope. I'm excited.
Cool. Me too.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have some more stuff that came out in this patch, and some really, really, really exciting stuff to talk about. This is the stuff that the Android people are ticked off about that they don't have right now. So let's talk about them one at a time here. First one, character scrolls. So this is the blurb from Disney about this in the patch notes. It says, "Huzzah! While cleaning out the chest vault in preparation for its removal from the kingdom in a future update, we uncovered long-forgotten boxes filled with strange scrolls. These character scrolls are powerful items that allow you to welcome or level up more than one character at a time. Character scrolls will be available in Merlin's shop in the Daily Rewards calendar. And in fact, we're giving away 3 character scrolls to players that log in on September 18th, 2019. Available in the shop for 600... So these are available in the shop now for 600 Elixir. So now, this is their answer to people saying, we need a second slot to level characters up. There's too many characters. It takes too long. We need a second slot. So the way that these character scrolls work is that if you have a character that's leveling, you can then go ahead and use a scroll and then level up a second character at the same time. Everyone says, yay!
Yay! Woohoo!
Right? It's awesome. So I was excited because today I had Wendy leveling. And they announced that 0 was going to be the premium character, or the featured character. And 0 for me was at 8. So I wanted to send him out for 16 hours. So I went and I used my character scroll because we got 3 for free as part of the gifts. We talked about that earlier. And I was psyched. 0's out, Wendy's out. Things are good, right?
Perfect.
So I have 1 slot where Wendy's in, at least we think, right? And then I have 1 slot that the character scroll's in. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing that I don't like. Here's the Debbie Downer of the parade here. When Wendy finished leveling, I could not level another character.
Ooh.
Yes. So the way that this works is it doesn't count as another slot. There's not a scroll slot, right? The way I think everyone was thinking about it was you have your people that are leveling in their normal castle slot.
Right.
And then when you use someone in a scroll, they kind of go into like a little scroll slot, like kind of in the corner. You kind of forget about them. And you can continue to level characters while this scroll person is going. So you send someone out for 24 hours, you forget about them, and then you can send a character to 2, a character to 3, a character to 5. Do all this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And that stinks.
Yep, I agree.
I like the fact you can do 2 characters at once, and I think it's very beneficial for, say, example, if you had 2 characters you wanted to level for 24 hours. Right?
Yeah.
You send someone out for 24 hours, you have a character scroll, you send someone else out for 24 hours, you get the full benefit of the scroll, right? Then you have 2 slots, effectively 2 slots. Hurrah.
Right.
But for the purpose of being able to level multiple characters while having a character in a slot, a second slot, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
So a little bit of a downer in that perspective. I'm still excited and I'm glad this is a feature. I mean, I'm very happy this is a feature. I just would have expected it in a different way. Like for example, you know how they're taking the bank away, right? They're getting rid of the vault.
Right.
That's what they said.
Yep.
Like they could have made the vault like the new like instead of like you send a character to the castle to level, like you could send them to the spa, right? They turn it into a day spa, right? Where
that sounds amazing.
Where they go and you use a scroll or whatever, and they go there, and then they're gone for that period of time, effectively being a second slot.
Right.
So, I think it's a great idea. I'm glad it's there. I'm sure I'll use many scrolls now that I know how to use them effectively. But it's not quite what I was expecting. What about you, Amy?
Yeah, I have not used one yet. I think it's a great thing. I think it's perfect for those who have a ton of characters, 100 characters to level still. That's amazing. But it is unfortunate that it doesn't work like its own area. So you can level 1 for 2 hours and then 4 hours and then 8 hours and then the next guy at the same time. So that is unfortunate. I'm thrilled to have it though, and I hope everyone learns how to use it to the best of its ability, because I think it's a great thing. But yeah, I kind of same thoughts as you on it. It's great. With a little tweaking, it could be greater.
I think that effectively what this does for me, when I think about how I want to use this, is 2 ways. Okay? Way 1 is one of the biggest things that people and myself think is like, I have too many characters that need to go to 10.
Right.
It's going to take me, I have 20 characters that need to go to 10. That's 20 days of leveling, and I can't level anyone else while I'm doing this, right? So these character scrolls are good for I can knock out 2 24 hours at once.
Right.
So that's huge, because that really lets you just knock out 24-hour characters at a time. And there's a time and place to level 24-hour characters. For example, when it's getting closer to an event and you want to have all your characters with no token conflicts. So
Right.
going into an event, you want to have almost no tokens being collected. A few days before then, I start sending characters out for 24 hours because you're not generating new tokens. So that's a good time to knock out a bunch of 24-hour ones. And if you're doing 2 at a time, even better, right? So that's use case 1 for whenever you're leveling a 24-hour character, knock out 2 at one time.
Right.
Second case, for the people that have listened who know that I have an "Oops, I did it again" segment, I like sending out characters for 24 hours right when an event begins. So then I can't even level up the character that I need to level up for the event. So, yeah, that's when I would use character scrolls to, like...
Definitely.
Because I've had to spend 60 gems to get Elastigirl to 10. Because I leveled her at 10:30 and the event started at 11 o'clock.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I'm terrible at that. I don't know why. I get all confused and I just start hitting the button. I'm like, oh, it's not going to cause token conflicts. And yeah, I don't know why that happens to me every time. I was good this event. I didn't do it this event. But anyway, those are the 2 scenarios that I could see it. But I honestly, I think that 2 hours at the same time is going to be the way to go ahead and do that.
It is. It's great.
All right. Let's see what else we have. So that's it. So now we have something else here. People say we want more land. So you got it. And for the people who say, what? No new land? Let me tell you, you got a lot more than new land. The Space Mountain Zone has been updated. They mentioned in the last patch that they were going to, in a future patch, revamp the Space Mountain Zone. And revamp they did. They cleared out that zone. They squared corners. They smoothed out edges. They removed obstacles. And I would say, with the way that they changed the way that the land is around the Space Mountain Zone, I would say it's equivalent to at least 2 plots of land being opened. Would you agree? Go ahead.
Yeah. So really quickly, I had 9 attractions in storage. I got everything except the Omni Droid. So I got 8 attractions out and about 5 more concession stands, along with Thrill Zone to 3. Screamin' is still there. I got out a ton of stuff. I'm actually more thrilled that they did this rather than just open up 2 more plots. I think it's amazing.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. And like I said, if they opened up 2 more plots of land, you're paying for that, right? There probably would have been maybe a permanent content plot of land that would have been like maybe $500,000, and then they'd probably make a $4 million plot of land, right? This is free, totally free.
Right.
I'd say it's the equivalent of 2 plots of land, and yeah, I mean it's so much room, and and you know, 8 attractions. You figure 1 attraction, or I'm sorry, 4 attractions to a plot of land is typically kind of what you can squeeze out. So yeah, 2 plots of land. I think that it's awesome. I mean, obviously, you're not a dummy to know that a Space Mountain Thrill Zone is the next thing to come. So what I would suggest doing, if you're going to start arranging your park and putting stuff out, is start thinking about arranging your park so that when Space Mountain becomes a Thrill Zone, you're already in the position that you want to be in. So I would, I would start looking at it and saying, okay, I want to have a couple of enchanted attractions out. Let's put some gold trophies in this area. Let's put a couple of concessions that are food concessions and hat concessions, and try to diversify so that when it does become a Thrill Zone, which probably is going to be in the next patch, that you're already well on your way to at least enchantment or Thrill Zone level 1 or 2, because 2 is the big one. Because if you could have 2 extra bonus wishes every day, that's nice. That's a lot of extra resources.
Oh, yeah, because you have 1 from Screamin', and then this one. That will be amazing.
Yeah, yep. You'll have 2
Yeah.
wishers every day, and you'll have one for each of the zones as they
Great.
become more available. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they drop great stuff. I mean, I've gotten epic scrolls from them. I got a chest once, like an attraction enchantment chest. You got gems, gotten some
Mm-hmm.
elixir.
Right.
So, and think about it, elixir isn't, it's good. You get 600 elixir. That's a scroll. Or I'm sure that,
Totally.
there's lots of attractions in there still. So,
Yes.
so yeah. So anyway, good stuff. Space Mountain Zone, awesome. Love it, love it, love it.
Yay.
Okay, so there were some other changes too. There were some enchantment changes. So there are more building enchantments available now. So the Pirates of the Caribbean attractions are enchantable now. The Jolly Roger, Pixie Hollow, Peter Pan's Flight, and the Lost Boys Hideout are all enchantable. So you'll notice now that you can start getting, you'll start getting the fairy dust, the pixie dust is going to start dropping for everyone, and you'll also be able to get Pirates of the Caribbean relics. So
Yep.
those are dropping now. And Rapunzel's Tower is also enchantable.
Yep.
So you will start noticing those as well.
And then, did you say the princess dressing room, or are you waiting on that one?
Oh, I'm sorry. And the princess dressing room. There it is. It's
Yes.
on the next line. That is enchantable as well now.
No worries. Yeah. Great.
The princess dressing room sucks though, because it's just one of those things. Like, for example, like if you had Steamboat Willie, right, and it just dropped the fabrics you needed, and now you have to like get it to like certain enchantment levels for it to drop it. Like the princess dressing room, like one of the benefits of having it was that it dropped glitch fabric.
Great.
Right, and now you have to enchant it to have it drop that fabric, and that kind of stinks.
Yeah.
So, now, but this doesn't say the Snuggly Duckling. Was the Snuggly Duckling previously enchantable?
I don't think so. Sorry, I hate to look at my phone, but I have a spreadsheet that is on my page, and I'll give you the link for it, but it tells you, so the Snuggly Duckling, someone out there is probably like, I know the answer. Snuggly Duckling just came out just this September 10.
Yeah.
And then it's great that it drops stuff, a token, once you get it.
Yeah.
Enchanted.
Yeah, no, that's really important. It's Pascal's tokens. So you want to get that to Pascal at 1 and Pascal at 2, both of his tokens. So you want to get that up as fast as possible. That's what I'm waiting to enchant. So that's one too. It wasn't on this list here, so
okay. Yeah.
Boo for the list. Okay. Some other things. So they're changing the way that gold trophies are working. Gold trophies are being changed here, and they are taking away the Toy Story and Mickey and Friends, or mostly Toy Story buildings and characters. They will not drop gold trophies anymore. So like, people always knew that certain characters dropped gold trophies quickly, and or just were always the staples. So Bo Peep, Sarge, Ham, Buzz, Al's Toy Barn, Toy Story's Parachute Drop, Slinky Dog Dash, and Goofy's House will now not drop gold trophies anymore.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I don't mind the change. The only thing that kind of was interesting is the Slinky Dog Dash. And the reason I say that is because it didn't come out too long ago. And when it came out, one of the things that was on the advertisement for it to purchase it was that it drops gold trophies.
Right, and now it does not.
Now it does not.
Interesting.
So that's just one thing that's a little disappointing. But so the interesting thing now is you're going to say, well, who does drop gold trophies?
That was just what I was going to say next.
So go ahead and ask me.
So, Stephen, do you know by any chance what does now drop them?
I have no idea. Let's move on. All of the Princess and the Frog characters and attractions will now drop gold trophies.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to myself, why would they just have Princess and the Frog? So what are your thoughts on that before I keep babbling on about that?
So good. I'm glad you're going to babble on because I don't know, except maybe I don't know. I don't know why they're choosing Princess and the Frog. The thing I liked about the Bo Peep, Sarge, Ham is those are characters that you get in the very beginning. So even someone who's just started, a couple months in, they have those.
Yes.
So I like that. I like that they could do it, even though they didn't have some others or all of the attractions. So that's what I loved about that. So it's like a catch-22. I like having something new, but I feel bad for those newer players who now, may not have that,
yes.
the Princess and the Frog one. So, but I'm curious to hear, what are your thoughts on why they picked a Princess and the Frog and what they're thinking?
So, I agree with you. I think that it would have been nicer to leave those gold trophy people there and then add the Princess and the Frog characters, because the feeling, like, during a trophy event, the feeling of getting trophies dropping and seeing them fly over is a feel good moment, right? And this game, every tap they want to have are feel good moments. You see an item fly over, a rare, or you get excited. Epics, you're really excited. You see that legendary item fly over. You get this game relies on little small feelings and multiple ones of them for feel good moments. And what they don't want are feel bad moments, right? So you want to have those. So I'm surprised they took them away. Why did they choose Princess and the Frog? I have no idea. My assumption is that during the next gold trophy event, those chests will be available, just for marketing purposes. What I do know, is that the intention is to have these rotate.
Yeah.
So these will not always be like this. Probably after in another couple of patches, it will change to another character, set of characters, but it will not be Princess and the Frog forever. You can expect to see these rotate, and that's what I have to say about that.
Right. So real quick on that, if you don't mind. So when we get a gold trophy, when a challenge comes up in the morning, I post it on my page. I'm like, okay, mini event started. Here's who is collecting. So in the olden days, and I would say probably 2 or 3 trophies ago, I could post the same post that I was posting for forever, for years, and I definitely cannot do that now.
Nope.
They're very different, which is kind of good bad.
But there were some changes maybe like 2 months ago. There was a couple of changes to some people weren't anymore, and some it was a much smaller list. There used to be a lot more.
Totally.
For example, the Kraken. Which is the worst attraction. No, actually, Omnidroid City is the worst attraction. No, I don't know. I think the Kraken might be the worst.
It's right up there.
Yeah, it's right up there. But that dropped gold trophies. So you said to yourself, okay, it's Kraken time to whip that out of storage and put the Kraken in the park. And that stopped dropping gold trophies. So a lot of things have changed around the gold trophy time.
Yes.
So, so expect to see those rotate. All right, so what else? So there was some balancing. We're not going to get too deep into this. There were attractions that had their magic adjusted slightly, and sometimes to collect changed. So some attractions went from 8 to 4 hours or 4 to 8 hours. Some had their magic, how much they dropped, changed by like literally 1 magic per thing. Like, they went from like 200 to like 199 or some ridiculous. Whatever it is, it's fine. And then they did change some characters and activities, tasks as well. As I talked about, Maximus now has a 1 and 6 hour task.
Yeah.
Slightly less useless. And then the big one that everyone knew about was that Snow White characters are getting balanced. So Android players, guess what? You get all this extra time to keep leveling up your Snow White characters.
Yay!
Stay on the sunny side of life.
Right? I know. I'm trying to make it as good as possible. Awesome.
So most likely. You knew this was coming, so hopefully you have your Snow White characters at 10. So what else do we want to talk about? So we talked about the 17th will be the first day of the Tower Challenge, so you'll get a ruby chest. The 18th for your daily login reward, you're going to get those scrolls, the 3 character scrolls. So log in on the 18th.
Definitely.
Not like everyone who listens to the show or is in our Facebook group doesn't log in every day, but log in on the 18th. And then the 21st is an epic scroll as well. 22nd, you're going to want to make sure you get the chest as well. And then 27th, then 28th is a big one as well. So just log in every day. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Definitely.
All right. So that's it. So that is it for the game news. That's it for patch 33 with the permanent content, the comfy costumes, the Tower Challenge, the Space Mountain updated, the character scrolls, balancing, all that stuff. So, final thoughts on that before we move on?
I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I'm loving this few-day break and Android issue fix break. I love this, but I'm so excited for the 17th. I'm ready.
And thoughts on all the stuff that's out there right now? I mean, I know you love Space Mountain right now.
Oh, hold on. You cut off. What was your last comment?
I said, so thoughts on everything going on right now? I mean, you love Space Mountain, new content. Everything is A-okay for you?
Everything's good.
Good.
Get your guys' enchanted attractions, enchanting, and do all your stuff. It's good. I know there's quite a few people who just are like, no, I'm not going to do it. But I think that will come back to bite you in the booty if you don't do it. It doesn't have to be fast. Just if you got them to enchant them. So, yeah, I'm excited. How about you? Are you ready? Are you excited?
Yes, I'm very excited. I think this is going to be a nice, fast-paced Tower Challenge. So I'm actually sleeping 8 hours at night now, so it's going to be harder to keep up.
Nice.
But
wow.
When I first started playing the game, my daughter was a newborn, so she was up every hour or two at night.
Right.
So it was easy for me to roll over, collect my Maleficent coins, send out my next batch, and then be done with it.
Got it.
But now, so when you're able to wake up every 2 hours, including the middle of the night, Tower Challenges are much easier. When you sleep, when you sleep a solid 6 to 8 hours, the Tower Challenges become harder. But we'll see how it goes. It makes it more of a challenge, right? Otherwise, it would be a Tower Easy.
There we go.
Oh boy! All right.
Definitely.
Let's move on. So there was a lot to talk about there. Okay, so let's move on into the event of the week. So this one was an interesting one. This Lose Your Lunch. Lose Your Lunch started on September 6th and ended on September 9th. It was wacky chests, and the wacky chests could be captured by Mickey Mouse, Mad Hatter, and Alice. So it was an Alice in Wonderland themed event that basically was like battle bots. You went out, you collected, there were heart tokens and keys. And when you collected 3 of each, you were able to defeat the battle lunchbox. And when you defeated the battle lunchboxes, you were able to get points and get onto a leaderboard. So everyone's like, oh no, what's going on with this leaderboard? Yes, it was the Haunted Mansion that they had discussed in the last... actually, was it... Yeah, I guess it was this live stream that they talked about the Haunted Mansion. So it's a new attraction, the Haunted Mansion, to celebrate the Haunted Mansion that's in California. Well, guess what? When I looked at that leaderboard, I was like, all right, is it going to be top 10? Is it going to be top 50? What am I looking at here? It wasn't top 50. It wasn't top 100. It even wasn't top 500.
Yay!
The top 1,000 people on each leaderboard got the Haunted Mansion. What?
Right? Wasn't that the best ever?
That was the best ever.
Yes.
That was the best
ever.
Yeah,
totally.
I was really, really happy to know that, one, I didn't have to bust my chops too much, even though I did wind up at like rank 60.
Nice.
But, I mean, for all of my friends who kind of struggle at these kind of events,
totally.
This was like, you're good. As long as you participate, even like half-heartedly, you're going to walk away with an attraction.
Totally. Which is amazing.
Yeah, so I was really excited, not just for myself, but for all the people who got to get this.
Right.
And it was, for a BattleBots event, it was more on the fun side. The tokens that dropped were easy to get.
I agree.
The lunch boxes were cute. Right?
They were.
They were a little hard to find at times, but
yes.
A little hard to find, but
yeah,
it was a nice twist on the BattleBots, type of thing. So battle lunch boxes, thumbs up for battle lunch boxes.
Yep. It was good.
Yeah, and really awesome that they were great on giving away the stuff. It was pointed out to me by someone in the in one of the groups that both this Haunted Mansion and the other Haunted Mansion generate 9 experience and 99 magic for their collects, paying tribute to the 999 happy haunts, which is part of the tag of the attraction. So that's a cute little thing that they do.
That's a Disney thing. I love the little things. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, the first time I ever noticed it was with Donald, when his the number of potions that you needed to welcome him, right, was had to do with the day and date and year that he was released, right? His first thing. So so there's a lot of little things in there, which threw me off because Shere Khan has a really weird number to welcome him, and so I was like, what's the significance of this? But there is none.
He's just a pain.
But it's 852,795 potions or something. It's like this has to mean something. It doesn't. At least no one that I've ever talked to, and I've asked a lot of people. I've ever found. So if you have any idea that Shere Khan's number to welcome him means anything, please let me know, because I don't think it does.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Okay.
Yeah. He was out in 1967. Really, why didn't they just have him cost, I don't know, 1,967? That would have been great.
No, it would have been 1,967,000.
Okay, let's just not give DMK any ideas.
No,
Scratch
please,
that.
Amy.
Oh, brutal.
Don't make us even any more broke than we are, okay?
Right.
Says the woman with 56 million magic in her stash. 56 million.
Yep. I know. It's good.
Okay. Well, Amy Bezos is here with us today, joining us. The founder of Amazon Magic Storage.
Nice.
All right, let's move on. That wasn't funny. That went over people's heads. That wasn't funny. All right, let's move on into something funny. The Disney Dad Joke of the Week!
Yay! Okay. I can't wait.
All right. So, I was at work, and they told me that I needed a password that was 8 characters long. So, I picked Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs.
Oh, I get it. That's super funny. 8 characters. Snow White is 1. Woo! That's impressive. Very good.
All right. This is why I do this show, just for that segment. Thanks, Allison. All right.
Oh, my.
All right. So we are not doing... so the next segment is It Worth It? But we're not doing Is It Worth It this week because we have the new segment, which we're doing. So we're going to put Is It Worth It on hold for right now. And we're going to do the next segment, which is Safe to Store.
Yay!
I like this one with the scratching of the head. Safe to store?
Right. Definitely thinking.
Safe to Store is a segment where we discuss attractions that should be okay to put away since we have limited land and now we have thrill zones to try to achieve. This requires more concessions and decorations to be put in our park. Now, we've just got a whole ton of new land, so we might have to, maybe we'll bench Safe to Store after this and we'll go back to is it worth it? But so for the people who haven't listened before, we've talked about different attractions that we think are okay to kind of keep in storage as they're not too impactful. So we've talked about the Animation Academy, Fantasmic, Splash Mountain, the Princess Dressing Room, the Hollywood Tower of Terror, Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress, Steamboat Willie, and everyone's favorite, Omnidroid City.
Right.
I guess I'll start out. So the one that I chose for this week is the Fantasia Gardens and Fairways. So the Fantasia Gardens and Fairways, it's only available in the attraction enchantment chests. So if you got this either previously in like a platinum chest or you got it as the special chance. Its collect time is 2 hours. The only things that it drops are Mickey ears, Cinderella ears, and pixie dust tokens. So if you're playing by this point, I would assume that you probably have Mickey and Cinderella maxed out. So I feel like those drops aren't anything significant. If you still need Mickey ears and Cinderella ears, then by all means, leave this out. But at a size 11 by 11, which is medium size, I would say, I feel like this is something that could definitely go into your stash and not be missed all that much. What do you think about Fantasia Gardens and Fairways, Amy?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Yeah, unless you're really needing those. I kind of like how it's not giving tokens to for characters. It's just giving those simple 1 hour ones. So it's not something that you'd be like, oh no, it's a good one. My favorite to have put away is the Omnidroid City. It's just too big, too huge. They need to lower it, make it much smaller.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think the Kraken is pretty close too, right?
Yeah, it's my second. So it's really big also. And I hardly ever see any kids actually being thrown from one side to the other. But yeah, it's my other one that's not that could go away, and I could put out probably 2 attractions in each. So yeah, that's a lot of, you could, if you had the Omnidroid City and the Kraken out, you could probably get 4 attractions in their spots, if not 5. So yeah, if you don't need them for Omnidroid doesn't. Oh, I don't know if it drops tokens or not. I'd have to look at that. But the Incredibles, if you don't need it to level the Incredibles or to get tokens for them, then I would think you're pretty safe with those. And then obviously Carousel of Progress, because mine's not dropping any tokens, but I think it's because I have them all. So yeah. But I love the Carousel of Progress, and I couldn't put it away just because it's old Disney to me, so I have to have it out.
The Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress is the Maximus of attractions.
Oh, I don't know.
It literally does nothing.
Yes.
It literally does nothing. Listen, I love
agree with you.
The aesthetics of it's great. I have lots of really good feelings because the Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress is the place that I go to when it's way too hot in Disney and I just need to sit down and get in the air condition for 15 minutes. So I have lots of fond feelings about that. But as far as safe to store, it's the Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress and Maximus are the only things home. I would still be okay with that.
Yeah. I gotta agree. It's killing me to agree because I love it. But yes. I agree.
But honestly, the only thing that the Kraken throws side to side is my sanity. So all right. So that's it. So that's safe to store. So if you have something that you think is safe to store, You can always hit us up on Twitter at ATK Podcast or Facebook.com/ATK Podcast. Or write into the show at aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. All right, so now we're going to move into Feature Report. Feature Report. Feature Report. Feature Report is a segment where we talk about ideas or features we'd like to see implemented into the game. This week was a little light, so we have one here. So Jeremy says he'd like to see a hide all attractions button. So I asked him a little bit more about this, and what he said is that he doesn't want to be able to store all his attractions, but when you have little tappers where you have tiny little crabs crawling around, it would be nice if the attractions could all kind of go invisible for a little bit. What do you think? What do you think about that, Amy?
Yeah, no, I do kind of like that. I think that's good because then you can just go collect your 10, tappers that are running around and then boom, put everything back. You're good to go. I think DMK would think that makes things too easy on us, and that's too bad, but I think it's great. Yeah, I like it.
I remember when I first started playing the game, the tappers that came around were the clouds a lot.
Oh.
And
right.
People were saying the clouds are so hard to find. And I was like, what are you talking about? I had like 4 little plots of land. No, I think I had like maybe like 6 plots of land. And like they were always like in that last plot of land, they were all huddled together all the time. And then I go bing, 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 and I was done in like 30 seconds. And I'd be like, what do you mean? Like it takes you 10 minutes to find a cloud. Yeah, I understand the cloud dilemma now.
Right?
I get it. There was an idea, so I think it's a cool idea, but what I like much more, and we'll talk about this idea, Amy, because this came up a few weeks ago, and I love this idea, so I'd love to get your thoughts on it, is to be able to save layouts, right? So you have let's say like 2 layout slots or 3 layout slots. So you build your kingdom. Okay? Mm-hmm. You have all your thrill zones set, you have your rides put out, you have everything the way you like it, right? Mm-hmm. You can click save into slot 1, right? Then you could rip your whole kingdom up and you could put out it totally different. You can have everything themed together. You could have all sorts of different things, or you can have concession stands and all, whatever. You change it up to for another purpose, whether it's aesthetics or whatever. Save that in slot 2, right? Then you just hit button 1, and everything in your kingdom just rips up and goes back down to where you had it saved in part 1. And then you could hit number 2, and everything kind of comes up and goes back down to layout 2. How awesome would that be?
That'd be kind of cool. I wonder how, like potions and stuff, because I think if someone who has their land with everything out, kind of like I do, except the Omnidroid city, or excluding that one. I wonder, how they do the potions for that, because if the one gives you much more potions because you've got everything out, whereas the other one is all clumped together by colors or what have you, it give you less. But that's going way deep into it. Well, that's a lot more thought.
No, so think about it. So if you were to choose to do that, right? 1, all of your characters would have to be out of the attractions, and then you would lose all the potions that were in there. Like all your timers would reset when you put the new stuff out. But then your potions would just be as normal. You know what I mean? Like it would just be like as if you just rebuilt your kingdom.
Right.
So there's no if your thrill zone's at 3, then you'll collect for 3. If your like as soon as you remove stuff, your thrill zone goes back to 0. You have to have that consistently there. So it would just be like you literally ripped your kingdom apart and rebuilt it, but you didn't have to spend 4 hours doing it. You could spend that time and really build it the way you like it, and then save that. And then go ahead and do something goofy. Build it do something goofy. Ha, get it? I'm still going at 11:45 at night, and
I did get that.
and you can still experiment and do fun things, but then you're like, okay, I'm kind of done messing around with this now. I want to go back to the way my old layout. You hit the button, you go back to your old layout, and you're good.
Totally. Which would actually be amazing for when you have your land, they either give you a new plot or you're redoing your Space Mountain area like we just got.
Right.
It'd be amazing to be able to save it the way it is and then go into that second one, place stuff in, because maybe you could fit more in the other one than you could in the first one. And then you could choose, oh yeah, I definitely want to have this one and not this one. You know, it'd be kind of nice, because now how it is, if you go to place, you place, and it's like, I bet I could move this because it's only 10 by 10. And I can move this because it's 6 by 6. And I could do it. You end up kind of putting it back away. And that's why it takes the 4 hours.
Right.
So yeah, I could definitely see some benefits to having that, just even in layout ways.
Yep. I think it would be great. I think it would really encourage more experimentation. I know that I would do it, because the nice thing about it too is that you could do it in pieces, right? So you have your park, right? You have your park the way you like it for right now, but you really want to mess around and try to like optimize it or thematic it or do whatever. You could sit there and mess around for 30 minutes. And then be like, okay, I'm done. I gotta go back to work. I've been sitting on the bathroom stall for too long. I gotta go back to work, or my kid's still crying. I need to feed them, whatever. But you could save that layout and then just hit a button and then boom, your park goes back to the way it was. And then you don't even need to think about it for like another couple of days. You can go back. You can keep working on it. It doesn't require that constant amount of time that it takes to build a park.
Totally. I agree.
So that's one of my favorite features that was ever requested.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's very good.
Okay. So, we'd love to hear from you on your feature reports. So if you have one, please, make a post in our group, right on our page. Get in touch with us. We'd love to see what you have in mind.
Definitely.
All right. So, there were some questions, I asked for some questions for me and Amy. We've actually answered all of them throughout the show. We're not gonna spend any more time on that. We've talked about Android more than enough. We will, Amy and I will stick around for just a couple of minutes after the podcast is done recording, to just talk in Facebook. We are live on Facebook live right now on the Around the Kingdom page. So we'll stick around for just a couple of minutes after the show's done recording to answer some more questions you might have in the chat. So that's it for things around the kingdom. We have no new 5-star reviews or ratings this week. Please go ahead and submit those. It really helps us out. Amy, shout outs. Obviously to Sam and Roxanne, but anyone else you want to...
Yes. And then a shout out to you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. I love it. It's so fun. So thank you so much to you. And then huge shout out to my my group, my guys, my girls. Thank you guys for showing up and being here with us today. And then I'm super excited to meet more of your group. Oh, I'm so excited. So thank you so much for letting me in. I know I talk a lot. I'm sorry.
No, it's perfect. It made a great show. So thank you. Thank you again for being here. You were awesome to have. So,
thank you.
My shout outs go to all the people in the, we'll call it the ASR group. Amy, Sam, and Roxanne, for those people who didn't get my things at 11:49 p.m.
Right.
But no, seriously, all the people there, you guys are awesome. I definitely have been watching the group for a while and lurking and posting a little bit here and there. You guys are all awesome. It's a really friendly group. So shout out to all you for joining us, and hopefully you guys will continue to listen to the show. All the links will be in the show notes, so you can listen on iTunes. You can listen on Android too. You can listen to this show before you can download the patch. I'll tell you that.
I just won't even say anything to that.
All right. It's late. I'm punchy. All right. Next week's show, I don't know. I don't know. Have a guest yet. A good chance that a geeky chick will join me, as long as she's not busy. So we'll have her back on as we get into. And we'll be back at our regular scheduled time, most likely of Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we talk about the beginning of the Tower Challenge. We'll be one day into it, and we'll talk more then. And make sure you stay tuned to our Facebook page, our Twitter, for the up-to-date breaking news for what happens when we hear about the new groups that will be coming out for Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. If you want to be more involved with the show, you can follow us here on Twitter at ATK Podcast and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/ATK Podcast. Here you'll find out before anyone else about breaking news that we hear, information on contests and show giveaways, when new shows are published, and of course my ramblings and photos from my day-to-day playing. The show's Facebook group is up, and it's a great way to easily interact with me and other fans of the show to talk about our favorite game. The link to our group will be in the show notes and can also be found on the show's main Facebook page. Also, you can write into the show. Our email address is aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the show, what's working, what's terrible, or any other topic you want to write in about. Or even if you just want to write in and say hi. And we're now on YouTube. We've been on YouTube for a while, so I need to change this. We are on YouTube. If you want to watch the show and see me and my awesome guests, like Amy, who is right there.
Yay!
Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and smash the bell to get notified when a new show goes live. The link to our channel will be in the show notes. And don't forget to join us in our Discord channel if you want to have a chat with us. If you want to help support the show, please head on over to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. Doing this is quick and easy, costs you nothing, but helps us greatly to be seen by other people so they can enjoy the show also. All 5-star reviews will be read at the end of each episode. Listening to the show is all we could really ask for, but if you do want to help support us in another way, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. We have a goal of getting 2 more Patreons for our show in the month of September, and you can be the person that helps get us there. This is a great way to show your support for about $1 an episode. All Patreons will get a special shout out at the beginning of each episode. Again, it's patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. The link will be in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We're so glad to have you. We wish you the best luck in the Tower Challenge upcoming. I am Steve Squirrel. For myself and Amy, we hope you have a great night, and we will see you around the kingdom next week.
Yay!